Hello, everyone, and my God, it has been a while, hasn't it? Welcome to the Pokemon Go Hour. No. This is not even the Verdun Scrim, as the title might say. This is the OPNoobs Should We Cover It show. We're a little bit lighter than normal, but we're back after an extended holiday vacation. I'm glad to see everybody here, well, at least some of us that decided to come here. Fred. Fred, our illustrious leader, is sitting tonight out simply because, well, life got in his way. So we're going to
shopping on Amazon Prime.
He is shopping on Amazon Prime. Actually, I think we might have lost him to
Prime Day.
Oh yeah, it is Prime Day, isn't it? That's right. Maybe he's just buying a ridiculous amount of Pokemon because we know he loves Nintendo. I am your host, if I can bring this good ship ADD back to Ritalin Bay. I am your host, Steven, also troll on Steam as Slave 2 Machine, although not as much lately. To my whatever direction he's in, the medium-high poobah, the VP of everything that we do, Chris Kellogg. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Doing well, thank you. Doing well.
Awesome. We have our Kelly coming to us from the International Space Station. Kelly, how you doing?
That sounded like our Kelly.
You are our Kelly.
I'm multiple people.
You actually are our Kelly. Well, we can't say our Kelly because, well, yeah, there's that. Exactly. And then finally, a face that we haven't seen for at least a little bit. Caitlin, one of the writers, one of the interviewers, one of the E for I cornerstones, the pilar of our community. Caitlin, you're back and you look a little tan.
Yeah, I just spent a week at the beach, and this is my first time doing the Tuesday show from the apartment. I have actually not done the Tuesday show since I moved.
It is true. We haven't seen you for a while. You haven't been on one of these. Did you miss us or no?
I did. I miss you guys every Tuesday. I just usually am cooking or cleaning or living.
Anything that's
Or
more
excuses.
Having a life is really overrated.
It really is. I mean, according to the CD Projekt Red Twitter page, life is overrated. Actually, adulting is overrated, I think they officially said. So,
Yes.
But that is that. So what is this show all about? In case you haven't seen it before, what we do is we go through the best and the not so best that Steam Greenlight, Early Access, or even just games that have been released have to offer. We go through the newest releases and we decide, should we cover it? Meaning, should we actually look into a deeper interview with the developers? If we like it, if we like the trailer, if we like the game in general, if we like the developers, heck, if we just we will reach out and get a chance to talk to the developers. But this is your chance to decide what goes on the site. You know, we're going to cover all these games in some way, shape, or form, but if you're really interested, this is your time. Say it down the chat, and then maybe we'll ignore it, or maybe we won't. You know, it all depends. But that being said, before we get into it, holy crap, Nintendo's had a busy week, haven't they? Nintendo Defense Force.
We've arrived.
We have arrived. Fred is not here, so I can just bully pulpit my way through this. Man, how awesome is your company if they can release a free app and in less than a week, in less than a couple of days, their stock price goes up 30-40%. They're making 3-4 mil a day, and they're only getting 10%. I'm sorry, that's hilarious. I've seen more people outside. It's raining. I can still see people out my window in this penthouse apartment of mine. I can still see people walking around with their phones in front of their faces in groups, in packs. People are socializing with their phones now. So I have to apologize. For a full calendar year since this was announced, I spent all that time complaining about how this was going to suck and how this was nothing more than a sad, pathetic attempt to reskin Ingress and make it important. And Niantic was just kind of grasping at straws, and Nintendo was... I'm sorry. I have never seen an app, all seriousness, I've never seen a smartphone app take total strangers, aside from Tinder, and make them actually socialize. I'm very impressed by this. So I gotta say,
no Pokemon.
Can I interject about one thing about the quality of the app? Like, I would say the app is okay, but it's still the much touted augmented reality is some of the lowest quality augmented reality I think I've ever seen. So that really surprised me. Like, the Pokemon, they don't even appear to snap to any kind of surface. Now, maybe that's one of the reasons why it works so well is because it's, like, super forgiving, because I've tried other ones where it's, like, you gotta hold the phone perfectly to make sure it can render on the surface and has to, like, capture something. But still, I mean, I captured a Pidgey that was, like, on my knee. And, like, most of the Pokemon have been on my desk. Which is cool, I guess, but it's kind of confusing. And so I can't argue that, like, this is, like, great augmented reality.
I feel like some people are getting them all on the desk, and some people, like, just turned on the app and, like, 2 minutes ago, and I finally had one inside my house.
Oh, I've only ever caught them in my house. I've never left my apartment, and I'm already level 3.
I walked like 3 miles today. I'll tell you, I caught like 17 Pidgeys.
Oh. Jeez, I caught an execute right here on my desk. Right here.
What?
Right here, man.
Right cool thing
you can see it on the webcam.
Maybe Pokemon don't like Minneapolis because it's cold.
I do have a story about augmented reality. Okay. So for some reason, whenever I'm using the augmented reality, I often have it turned off. And I'm with Gary, my lovely boyfriend, plus overpowered intern here. The Pokemon swarm around him for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah,
and there was this one time when I went to go catch a horsey. I saw it. We were at the beach, and I thought it was on him, like in his pocket, and he turned at just the right moment when I was snapping a picture, and he was hung like a horsey. There was I posted it to
Facebook. Wow. Gary, shout out to overpowered intern Gary for that. That's amazing.
You had a horsey just like popping out. Hello.
How long? Is that something that actually happened, or were you just planning that entire thing with the joke?
She's waiting forever to tell that joke, man. She's been waiting forever.
I weeks ago on Facebook. I just hadn't talked to you guys.
Well, I haven't really. I admit I have not played the augmented reality bit much. I've actually, every time I've started up the app after it's crashed, and I've had to force quit a bunch of times, and I've had to reconnect to the servers a bunch of times, and I've lost a couple of catches a couple of times. But I've always turned that off because I find that my accuracy is better when I'm throwing the Pokeball. But the amusing part is I have found so many ways to screw with the app. Like, as soon as a Pokemon pops up, they do their little dance or movement before it actually goes to the ability for you to play. If you just flick your finger once or twice while it's doing that animation, it's an instant catch. Just what I've found. Just after it says, you have encountered wild. Yeah, you have encountered something or other. Just flick your finger, and it's almost always going to get caught. Although, if I catch another...
I don't know, unless you waste, like, 10 Pokeballs on an Onyx and then don't catch it.
If I catch one more...
I was flicking my finger, Steven, and an Onyx is not in my Pokedex.
Did it glitch on you or something?
No, just wouldn't be caught.
He's just not a Pokemon master.
That's the problem. And I wish you would share that picture into the chat, Caitlin, please, because there's a horsey on him. And I think that's illegal in many states. I think bestiality laws do apply to Pokemon. I'm just saying.
That's great.
No, it's great, folks. If you can't see it, it's essentially Gary.
Good deal. Yeah. Enhancing it currently.
This is the thing that makes technology so worth it, folks. It really is. So that being said, we're going to get right into it. We'll come back to
I don't know if we're supposed to be more happy with the horsey being there or the shirt that he chose to wear.
I actually
having the
both
horsey
aspects of this picture.
Because both are just amazing, and I'm a little blown away.
I do like the fact also, by the way... Oh, there it is. I was going to say, Kellogg, yeah, our faces are missing, but that's probably for the best. Maybe that's why the view counter went up for a little bit.
They've all been replaced with horsies, actually.
Actually, I'd be happy to see that. Let's just all do that.
All be horsies.
We will come back to Nintendo because the last game of the evening, oh my god, is amazing. So
can I just add, I just wanted to ask you guys if you'd ever played a game called Dark Cities, another app game where where you're on a map and it's app based and you walk around, you capture buildings and stuff. Okay. it's remarkably similar to this, and it's surprising to me that this is more popular. But I think it's probably because people have been dying for Pokemon on mobile. I think they've been dying for it. Anyways, I know we need to move on to
apps or I can't remember what it's called. Same deal where you like go get information points.
Yeah, it's called. I remember the one I played. It's called Dark Cities, and it was a huge splash. They had a New York Times article and all this crap.
Are you sure you're not talking about Ingress? Because that is the game.
That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of.
You know who made Ingress?
It may have been renamed. They may have renamed it. But
you know who made Ingress, Kelly? That's Niantic. That's the guys that did Pokemon Go. That's why I said it was a reskin. You weren't listening, were you? Yeah, it's okay.
No. Did you not hear?
Yeah, no. You know, for the year or so that I was complaining
He's too busy catching Pokemon in his living room.
It's okay. We're gonna get right into it. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have Chris Kellogg. He's gonna read the description of the game for us, and then Caitlin, you haven't done this in a while. I'm sure you remember how. I'm gonna have you read the description about the developer if we have it. I have to mention a lot of times the developers are like one guy, and they don't tell us anything about them, so...
Don't tell them that. It's not exciting when they know what's going on.
Oh, but it's going to be fun, because it's going to be Caitlin doing it. So, with that in mind, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this over with.
I need the doc.
You do, don't you? So, in the meantime, while I send it to you, Chris, Stylo, the first trailer. Chris, the first game is Dreambreak.
All right. We have Dreambreak. An ordinary everyman named Eugene, dragged by coincidence and circumstance from a life of mundane menial tasks into a baffling world of some inexplicable murder, hidden conspiracy, and unrelentingly lethal robots with nasty sharp pincers and lasers coming out of everywhere. Over to you, Caleb.
Lasers everywhere, really?
Everywhere.
Developed by Aist, or A-I-S-T. Aist.
Aist, yeah.
Yes! That was the best description ever. Okay, there are indeed lasers. They are indeed everywhere. Pixelated R-Type? Well, I mean, R-Type's already pixelated, but side-scrolling shooter. I like it. I like the fact that we let off with the picture of Gary.
That's great.
And then the trailer. He should be the bumper for every trailer going forward.
I agree. That and the picture of Record from
yeah, I liked that one.
That really should be his biopic at this point. But okay, it's 2016. Are we done knocking on USSR? Can we leave the Russians alone at this point? Should we leave the Russians alone?
I don't know. I personally think we need to come back to Russians like Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
And stray away from like Middle East terrorists and let's go back to like, Russian, Ukrainian dudes. They're cool. But, they murder people with like axes and stuff. I'm not saying that's cool. I'm saying it's different.
Are we coming out and supporting axe murder in an election year?
Well, I watched, So I Married an Axe Murderer and had a trigger. Classic. So, I had to
a classic film, if there ever was.
Everybody, obviously.
It's not that typical. I mean, there's a lot of obviously sci-fi games, but there's not as many sci-fi games set in the Soviet Union future. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's kind of interesting. I know they do exist, but they're not as common, and it's an interesting sci-fi future to explore.
But I also want to mention, like, the reason this game seems appealing to me is because I've been playing a few Nintendo games again, and I recently, for $8, because it's Nintendo night, I got Top Secret Mission Gogol 13.
Ooh,
and for anybody that hasn't played that, parts of this trailer look very similar to that game. You're like a secret agent. You like come to America to fight some Russians, and you kind of like break down the mob and whatever. The game is really amazing. You like sleep with women to progress through the game and like smoke cigarettes. It's awesome. Besides that,
if it weren't for that,
so you mean it's like everyday life?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's you just call that Tuesday.
Yeah. During the day, writer for OPNoobs. During the night, guy that
gets lost in a badly rendered 3D
maze. No, I don't do any of that. Nope, I don't do any of those things.
No?
So really, I'm just a writer for OPN. But really,
yeah,
that this trailer does kind of like make me think of that game immediately, which seems appealing.
It's fair. It's fair. Caitlin, I know you like all things shiny and pretty and whatnot. This isn't exactly your kind of thing, but what do you think about what we're seeing?
I don't mind pixel art, actually, and I do like that there are many different layers to the art that we're seeing. I actually really like the style of 2D shooters. It's in this way, it's not a bullet hell. It's just a I'm gonna walk around and shoot things kind of deal. And I like that there are the multiple levels where he can jump up or down over it or fall terribly. So I would actually play this and not mind, and actually might enjoy it.
Okay. Okay. Chris, your thoughts? I know we kind of ripped on the Russians a little bit, which is kind of interesting. It's a good way to start off, I guess. But what are your thoughts on this? And then we'll move forward.
I mean, it does look a little basic, but I think the graphics are great. The artwork is amazing. This looks like a game I would play. You know, side scrollers been done a lot. I know we talk about it all the time. How retro graphics have also been done a lot. But I honestly, if it's made well, you'll never find me not wanting to play a well-made retro side scroller.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, should we cover it? Should we reach out to the devs, whomever they may be?
I mean, I'd say yes. Why not? I'm sure they're interesting people.
Okay. Well, we know so much about them from the description.
Yes. Interesting name. I'm going to Google it to see if it means anything real quick.
That would be a wonderful thing. But in the meantime, we're going to move on to the next one. The next one on this list, oh joy, we haven't looked at zombies in a while, so Zombie Night Terror is the next one. Chris?
All right. Zombie Night Terror. Prepare yourself for the most thrilling night of your life. Something strange has happened, and people everywhere are turning into bloodthirsty walking corpses. But guess who's the brains behind this hungry undead army? You! So spread this pandemic and wipe humanity off the planet.
That's like the great.
I didn't mean to giggle at the end. That's just my sign.
The giggle is a little strange, I gotta say.
All right. Noclip is an independent game studio based in Marseille, France. The studio was founded in 2015 by 4 developers, 2 programmers, and 2 artists who met while working for a mobile game developer. When they were made redundant, they decided to continue to work together on a Lemmings-type game with zombies. After 2 years in development, Noclip is now teaming up with Gambitious to bring out its first project, Zombie Night Terror.
This looks sweet.
So first, I want to say, what was with that little chuckle at the end there, Chris? Are you seeing looking?
I think it just cracked me up because I didn't really expect at the end for us, the player, to be the one in control. I don't know why that cracked me up. It did. It made me giggle. I'm not sure why. Don't ask me why I do the things I do. I just do them.
That is
why
totally
do you do the things you do?
He asked us not to ask that. He asked us not to ask that. Now you're going to get killed by a zombie. I hope you're happy. But it's okay, as long as the sweet picture of Ness stays in one piece.
Do you guys don't know what Aist means?
No.
Because I got it right here.
What does it mean?
It means ass and seat time. We have to we have to get an interview with this.
10 out of 10, game of the year. I love it.
I was gonna say.
Let's okay, so the first one is definitely a yes. Zombie Night Terror. Do we hate humanity, or do we really hate humanity in order to be the zombie in this one? Kelly.
I think this looks pretty fun. There used to be like these old Flash videos, and then they made a Flash game of stuff called Madness. Do you guys ever remember that at all? And
I remember.
Yeah, there was like a bunch of videos. Essentially, it was like
Newgrounds.
Yeah, exactly. And this, for some reason, reminds me of that and a mix of what is it? Only Gods Know? Is that the game I'm thinking of? Either way, that same kind of like pixelation art and like how kind of like the characters are portrayed and everything, and all the lead up with the action. That reminds me of those two things. And this game, once again, and for 2 pixel art games in a row, I would admit, I would say yes to should we cover this. This looks really fun and challenging.
I'm kind of a fan. This is kind of, it's not exact, but I do like those kinds of games that throw the idea of the game on its ear. You know, you're not the human survivor, you are the zombie, or you are playing as the infected in Left 4 Dead, or you're the alien with Zim as your co-pilot in Destroy All Humans. I love these types of games, and I also like the 8-bit style of it, even though I normally rag on it saying that it's just an excuse, but I'm a fan of this already. Maybe it's because of the retro in me, or maybe it's because retro is what all of us love. Who knows? Caitlin?
I'm in love. One of my favorite things is when something's in black and white and you see red everywhere and the blood splatters just popping up, just dandily into the air is amazing. Plus, I love anything that is zombies, but I hate how overdone the genre got. And this is fresh and something I would love to play.
Mm-hmm. Chris, any final thoughts? I think
I gotta agree. I mean, I think it's super cool how you can just take any average zombie and suddenly superpower him to do, one of many different things in any given situation. And the AI is just going to be forced to react to all the decisions you make. And, the zombies, I thought it was cool that there's a zombie that can throw and zombies that kind of just stand there and do, I don't know. It looked like it was spitting from afar. I think this game is sweet. And I agree with what Caitlin says. This is one of the freshest ideas in zombie games I've seen in a long time, and there have been a lot of zombie games, man, in the last 10 years, as everyone knows. Or
there has.
So
in the last year, you mean? I mean, we've seen a lot of zombie-ish type of games.
The genre will not die. It just will not die. No, the zombie genre makes sense, but but yeah, I'd play this in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, the last question is, should we cover it? Do we want to reach out to the devs? I say yes. First. Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Next one on the list is the away team. If there's not somebody wearing a red shirt, I'm going to be very sad. So, the away team.
Okay. The away team. In this interactive sci-fi adventure novel, you are the AI pilot of Earth's last interstellar ship, tasked with finding a home for your crew, the last remnants of humanity. Your choices will determine their fate and your own. Over to you, Caitlin.
Developed by Underflow Studios. That name scares Underflow. That's like your time of month.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it, so we didn't have to.
I'm going to take a drink on that one.
Immediately, but either way.
Only the best and highest quality jokes on this show, folks. I'm just saying right now.
Always.
Is that all we have for the...
Yeah, that was not much of a trailer. That was some clicking around and some vaguely spreadsheet-looking space stuff.
Great. I love space and I love spreadsheets.
And a quote from John Paul Jones.
Next up on the list.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I hate to be... I try to be as diplomatic about this as possible, so I'm going to try so hard. If all we see in a trailer is supposed to be the best that the game has to offer, please make it the best that the game actually has to offer. I understand this is interesting. I understand that this would probably be fun, but...
Do you see that wall of text? I mean,
yeah, every day.
They did say it was a novel, to be fair.
Yes.
It's in the description. This is a novel.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But at the same time,
it's a little different.
Go ahead. Please.
I don't know.
Are you with us, Kelly?
No, I'm just I'm trying to...
Stop playing Pokemon Go on the show. I'm saying it now.
No, I'm kidding. No, just I see there's a choice system and everything else too. So I don't know. I don't know if a lot of reading would be so bad if this was kind of a choose your own adventure. Actually,
I wish that advertisement of 85,000 plus words. That was an actual.
That's a weird.
That's a selling point. It's a feature.
For the interactive novel, it is kind of a selling point. You don't.
But is that something you usually see? I mean, it's not like it's a polygon count. It doesn't make sense.
It really depends on what your audience is. The people that enjoy interactive novels or well, that's basically what this is. It looks like an interactive novel with a little bit of FTL mixed in.
That was what I was going to say. It's a more literary FTL.
Yeah. So at the same time, we might knock it, but and I don't want to knock it because someone did spend their time on this. This is someone's hopes and dreams that we're dashing, because that's what we do on this show is we dash hopes and dreams, and we do it well, damn it. But
there's definitely a market.
There is a market. I mean, again, look how many times I've been wrong. It's like 6 in the last 10 years, but I've been wrong about out of the park baseball. There's a huge market for that. I've been wrong about sports simulators. It's not my thing, but it's somebody's thing.
People love them for some reason.
Exactly. It's not 6,000. I'm grading on a curve, so it's okay. But yeah, I'm interested. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to know more about it. I don't know if we would interview these folks. Not because I'm against it, but because it's. I would like to see more about it before I could make a
yeah, me too. I would like to see a lot more, both in depth on the reading side and on the gameplay side. Like, I honestly want to see both. This trailer is not enticing in any way.
I think that's all we need to say before we dig a ditch. The next one on the list is, God almighty, Stylo. The next one on the list is Death Road to Canada.
Oh, God. I feel bad, too, because I went to school in Canada, and so this better not destroy all little faith I have left in that nation.
Death Road to Canada, so yes. Somewhere else.
I guess that's true, and there's only one place to go from into Canada, so it means it must be in America. Anyways.
It's not really like Death Race Canada edition, so.
That's true.
Or Trail of Tears, so.
That's true. All right.
This is a happy trailer. Please, go right ahead.
We've got Death Road to Canada. Control a car full of jerks as they explore cities, recruit weird people, rescue dogs, argue with each other, and face gigantic swarms of slow zombies. More zombies. Randomly generated for a new story and rare events every time you play. Wow. So there are zombies. Anyways, go ahead.
Of course there are zombies.
All right. Rocketcat Games is a small company made up of 3 people. We make games with a focus on depth, experimenting with familiar mechanics, and hat fashion.
I'm sorry? Hat fashion?
Hat. I think that might be hot, but it says hat, so I'm going to go with it.
I'm gonna go with hat fashion.
Oh, yeah,
this trailer is pretty great.
Yeah.
I am liking it so
much. Amazing.
I didn't know Whoopi Goldberg was going to be in this.
I don't know. That looked like Yvette Brown to me.
Yeah.
Shirley from Community for.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that Shirley? It does look a little like Shirley.
So obviously, if it has a horse head mask, we have to say yes.
Okay, no, is that the entire trailer?
Yes. So.
Okay. Great trailer.
This is our trailer.
What about the game?
Right. So, slight rant incoming, of course, as always. I love absurd humor. It's wonderful. However, there's got to be something more to it than just the one-note joke. I Am Bread is funny. Surgeon Simulator, oh, you're a surgeon that can't move your hands. That's wonderful. Goat Simulator, hey, you're a goat. That's all you need. While I think this is a great trailer, we do have to base our opinion on should we cover the game based on the trailer. From the humor perspective, I like it, but I would like to see more game in my gameplay trailer. Thank you very much. I think I need to swirl wine while saying that, but anyway, I gotta say no. I don't like this almost disingenuous type of marketing. Well, that's just me. I know it'll catch on. I know it'll be a big deal, but I'm just not a fan of it. Kellogg.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I'm still enjoying this trailer. But I
can't not enjoy the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a well-made little zombie flick. It's like vaguely interesting. I'll call it that.
Yeah.
I agree, though. I mean, unless they plan on pulling out some kind of stunt at the end of this that shows magnificent levels of gameplay in realistic 3D environments, I'm really not going to be that impressed beyond any, from any. I know
what it is. This is the Fallout 3, or not Fallout 3. Excuse me. This is the Half-Life 3 trailer. That's what's going.
See, I thought this was just a failed. I thought they just misunderstood that augmented reality doesn't mean augment yourself with like masks and shit. Like, I don't know.
That dog looks pretty augmented, to be honest with you. I've never seen a dog's paw snap up like that.
And I was gonna say, it is driving a truck.
This is getting pretty amazing.
Yeah,
that's augmented reality.
Although it went backwards,
and it flew up. There it goes.
I mean,
gameplay.
There is a little bit of gameplay. It's
you know what, this is another interesting trend where what they try to do is when you take a game like this, right, to help it stand out from the other retro top-down games that exist online, which are plentiful and have been for decades, is you create a medium to low budget live action trailer, because what sets you apart from the other team or the other groups than an attitude, right? So I think that's what they're trying to do. Is create some attitude with that trailer, and it was honestly very confusing. And
that's very true. And I actually think that's a pretty good idea for the most part, because what I think of is like the old Twisted Metals. Think like the
old live action. Yeah.
Yeah, like the very first one, all the endings and half or midway, clips were all like live action stuff. And when that first came out, I thought it was pretty amazing. Now we're kind of familiar with that medium, but we don't see it that often. So to see it again, and I don't know, in fairness, that trailer was pretty funny, pretty amusing to me, like everyone's the dog shot the guy. So that made me giggle.
I know, so, you make a good point. I mean, there's
one specific point where all the zombies are eating the dude, and you see the guy at the horse head just running away with the pan, looking ferocious, and that's pretty funny.
It is funny, but did
meteor? It's a little much.
I just feel like that part of the trailer ran a little longer than it probably should have.
Yes,
I am all for the establishing portion of the joke, but when your trailer turns into the length of a music video, that's a little excessive. It's funny. I'm not sure what I'm seeing.
Borderlands games.
Beginning of the Borderlands games, although I did like those as well, but maybe it's just my preference for Cage the Elephant, who knows. But the game itself, since we actually saw some gameplay on that, it's, of course, you've got your funny Easter eggy type of things. I saw the dog van from Dumb and Dumber in there. I know for a fact.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome. I saw that too.
But it has this vibe of Retro City Rampage, which I'm a sucker for. So
super
I don't know. I might have to change my opinion after I saw a little bit of gameplay, because it looks like a more interactive version of Oregon Trail, or the Oregon Trail, which is a spoof of Oregon Trail. So
which is also fairly fun. Obviously that is just one of the purest reskins ever, but it still was pretty fun, and I don't know. There's
the reskin of Ingress, which turned into Pokemon Go. That's
fantastic.
The 17th.
And the reskin of Team Fortress 2, otherwise known as
reskin
Overwatch, which is fantastic and super fun.
Oh yeah, and
just not worth $60.
Well,
it's only 40.
Well, it's even less depending on where you look around, but we're not going to cite any of those places apparently. Okay, so the last person on this list, Caitlin. Again, we go to you for anything shiny and pretty. This is not exactly shiny nor pretty, but what are your thoughts on this?
I'm really missing the hat fashion, but I have the same bandana as that dog.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's cute.
You mean just a red bandana?
I'm so upset that the game wasn't similar to this trailer. Even if it didn't have the best graphics, even if it was more like Life is Strange, sort of not reality, but put together. It would have been so cool if the trailer was similar to the gameplay, but this is just okay. It's got something that would be fun for maybe an hour, but I don't see anything unique about it. Although the one guy did throw a truck. I don't know how he did it. There's humor here.
I don't know. There looks to be a lot of exploration, and there's obviously an end goal. Get from point A to point B. You can easily tell that from just the title of the game.
Which, of course, point B is Canada for some reason. I don't know why Canada would be safe in a zombie outbreak. Because it's better.
This also makes me think of like FTL when it first came out. Like, it was very popular, but it was also kind of new, and it took like a different approach on a lot of stuff. But still, I kind of consider that like Oregon Trail for the newest generation. And this game kind of seems like it's following that same guideline, or excuse me, I wouldn't say guideline. It's covering those same bases of kind of like originality while kind of mixing with humor and unoriginality.
So that being said, as always, should we actually cover this? Even though we kind of maligned the trailer at first, should we actually look into finding out about the crazy people that are behind this? Because non sequitur humor is fun. Like I said, absurdist humor is fun. Does that make for good gameplay? To me, now that we've actually seen gameplay footage, like I said, it kind of hits a couple of chords for me. I would be interested in it now that I've seen that. But I don't know about the rest of you. Kelly?
I think we should. Because the uniqueness behind all the things I said, like the gameplay and the trailer both kind of got me. I think they're both interesting, and I would want to cover this, or I'd want this to be on our website. So yes.
Okay. Kellogg?
Yeah, I mean, I think what separates this game, for me at least, from other zombie games, particularly, you know, in top-down games in general, is what Caitlin mentioned, which is that it looks like it has a pretty good sense of humor. And that sense of humor isn't just superficial. It actually might even translate into gameplay. Like, I saw like people picking up shopping carts and throwing them at zombies, which I thought was pretty funny. And I also saw like a truck that like it was only there for a moment, but it actually just looked like a dog. Like it had a tongue and a tail, and like was a shag dog.
That's the
Dumb and Dumber. The Dumb and Dumber
fan. Yeah. Well, I guess I just don't know Dumb and Dumber very well. But
you don't.
But I thought that was pretty awesome. So yeah, I like the looks of this game. I think it's got a great sense of humor, and I'm like, it looks like it's got a lot of challenge, and that's specifically for me like what I look for in a zombie game. It should be very hard, because even Left 4 Dead, eventually at the hardest level, you get good at. So I just hope that this can deliver the challenge.
I guess we're gonna find out. So we are gonna look into it, I suppose. Caitlin, your final thoughts? Should we actually cover this? So far, it's 3-2.
I think we should definitely cover it over the spreadsheet one, but yeah, it's cool.
All right.
I would also agree with Kayla on that one. Cover it over the spreadsheet one. Over
the away team.
Oh, the away team.
Which is apparently on our little cheat sheet. It is now listed as not even a no. It's listed as poop. Thank you for whomever.
Good.
I totally saw that coming.
Poop's funny.
Poop is funny?
Indeed it is. So, we're going to move on to the next one. The next game on the list is called Hive Jump. Kellogg?
All right, Hive Jump. In the 24th century, humanity is at war with a hostile alien race. Outnumbered 1,000,000 to 1, mankind's only hope of survival is the Jump Corps. Its mission is to fight the alien menace Hive by Hive and planet by planet. You and your friends assume the role of jumpers and blast your way through procedurally generated alien hives in chaotic run-and-gun 2D platforming action. Up to 4 players band together in local or online co-op to kill aliens, avoid traps, collect treasures, and discover lost relics. Defeat fierce alien bosses to complete your mission and save the galaxy. Over to you, Caitlin.
All right. It is developed by Graphic Lab, and their passion for game development is apparently nearly a decade old. They're proud to have one of the few St. Louis game developers that are making awesome things in the Midwest. They're gamers and enjoy having fun in all that they do, and they have nearly 40 years of combined experience developing games for many platforms, and are rapidly expanding their portfolio. To what, I wonder?
Who knows? But I will say that this is Contra. Am I getting some Contra feels on this game?
I'd play the crap out of this.
Yeah,
a little bit. But this is like some seriously like well done multiplayer mode looking Contra. And the graphics, man, the graphics look awesome. I mean, the backgrounds are like as detailed as I can remember any 2-dimensional background being
Yeah, and then all the battle and gameplay looks like super fluid while you're playing.
This looks really fun. I would have a really fun time playing this.
So
it's got some serious Super Metroid vibes going on here.
It's got some spunk.
Yeah.
So here's my question though: is
it looks like Brinstar?
While yeah, it does kind of look like the assets of Brinstar. So the question is, when it comes to these retro style games, how much does the gameplay actually matter? Now I know that sounds like a weird question, but when we see something like this, we kind of immediately go, "Oh, this looks like," or "Oh, this looks like." Again, we're going by the trailer, so that's usually the first thing. Why is it that games we're so used to usually get a pass, but we'll complain when we don't see anything new? Chris?
Well, sort of to speak to your first question about like how much does gameplay matter, and I think with retro games in particular, if you're making a new retro game, basically gameplay is everything. I mean, that is everything because it's not hard to make 2D assets. It's not hard to click them together into an environment. What's hard to do is make that interesting. And so I think that gameplay is 100% everything, and that all the best 2D retro games that I've played recently have all have introduced, they don't necessarily have to introduce a new element. They have to just maybe do it better than it's been done before, but it's usually one or the other.
Or just do it right, or just do it right. Because so many times it's not done right.
Yeah, and I think that it comes down to basically polish and did it bring anything new to the table, or did it do it better than its predecessor? One of those two things.
Kelly?
This looks really interesting to me. There's like the mixture of like kind of Metroidvania, Contra stuff, but then I also kind of see like a little bit of Cave Story and Risk of Rain, if anyone played those games, and I like all of those games, and this just being multiplayer looks incredibly fun. So I think that we should definitely cover this.
Caitlin?
We should cover it, but other than the multiplayer, this is not something I would really pick up, and that's mostly because I don't know anyone who would play it with me. Like, it's not something that...
Play it with you, Caitlin.
Okay, we could play it.
Yeah. Then. And Rob would play with us, too. I know.
Mm-hmm. The all of us.
Then,
I don't know about Jonathan Crane. He might play with us.
No, probably not. I don't see any way to make people afraid in the game, so I gotta go. I'm still kind of afraid and probably going to have bad flashbacks of the away team, so we'll just go with that. Because now I have this weird image of the A team and the away team mixed together, and I think I just found a new game to put on Steam Greenlight. Hold on, guys, while I just make a few clicks here, and I'll just buy a bunch of asset packs like a bunch of other people have apparently been doing on Steam Greenlight, so we'll go from there. I think it's pretty much unanimous. Maybe it's just retro glasses that are letting us say yes to this, or maybe it's because it looks freaking awesome. Either way, I say yes. The next one is kind of weird to me because I've played the card game, so we will see. The next game is SUPERFIGHT, also known as SUPERFIGHT, because it's all in caps, and you have to yell.
I actually played the card game too. The card game is a lot of fun. I got it in Loot Crate. I don't know, and I just I pulled it out at a party more than once, and it's gotten people particularly when booze is involved, people get very excited and very really into it. So, anyways, I'll just read the description. SUPERFIGHT is a hilarious card game based on fights between characters with superpowers and super problems. Players create fighters from the cards they draw, then argue over who would win in a fight. SUPERFIGHT features cutting-edge Twitch tech, bringing players a true community experience. Wow. Over to you, Caitlin.
We've had a pretty rich history. Our founding team came out of legendary developer Dynamics in 1999 to create Pipeworks, with a focus on technically innovative independent games. In 2005, we were one of the studios that formed Foundation 9 Entertainment, which went on to be the biggest independent game developer in the world. And in the process, Pipeworks created 3 #1 games. Now, in our third act, Pipeworks is part of the Digital Bros group. with a charter to create significant new IP to maximize our traditional strengths. In our 17th year, Pipeworks acts with the passion of a startup studio with the benefit of a wealth of experience in game development.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there because the rest of it's all buzzwords and it's not even remotely English. In fact, I'm going to post it right there. All right, so buzzword bingo, everybody. It's right there. I know we've said this before, and Fred's not here, so I'm going to try and think like him, which I may not come back from, so please shoot me if I turn into a French zombie.
It's okay, Steven.
When it comes down to a development house, talking about how we have people on the team from this house and that house and this development studio, and they worked on this game, that doesn't mean anything. Technically, the janitor can say that he worked on a team for Halo. That doesn't necessarily make it a good team when you get all those people together. It all depends on the team dynamic. Now, that's another story entirely. The real question, though, is card games do not always translate well to PC. Although, from what I'm seeing here, it looks like it's doing a pretty good job, or at least from the trailer.
I feel like it kind of just depends.
Yeah.
I brought this up before on the show, how the old, or excuse me, like the mid-90s Magic the Gathering card game on PC. I played that like a ton when I was younger. And then...
Yes, I know what you mean.
And then when, I think around like 2000, Pokemon the card game on Game Boy came out, I played that a lot. And then, like, from there, I kind of, like, stooped off and stopped playing as much. But obviously there was games like Hearthstone, which is hugely popular. And
it still is.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I think they've always been on the market. There's just fewer gems within, like, kind of the bunch. So when you do see one, they last for a while and people talk about it.
Chris? Your thoughts on the card game as someone else that has actually played said card game?
Well, I mean...
And then we will get into why Caitlin is... Or, excuse me, not Caitlin. Yeah, Caitlin. We'll get into why Caitlin is incredibly right. Chris.
Well, so they mentioned about how there's going to be, like, some kind of cutting-edge Twitch experience, and that's the only context that, like, makes any sense for this game, because without that, it would be, like, rather pointless. It's kind of like... I don't know, like playing musical chairs in a computer game. You'd be like, why do it? But you could. But so they're going to use Twitch, which is going to involve some kind of, it's going to be like a webcam thing. Now, how quickly this is going to devolve into just like chat roulette, like dick roulette, is going to be interesting to see. Because I have a feeling that before you know it, this is going to, now it is Twitch, which I know is better about these kinds of things. But like, seriously, how quickly is it going to just become another dick roulette? So I'm skeptical about this whole picture.
There's that same within that same like realm. There's the problem of like, I don't know, like about too many younger kids playing this and streaming it, where it just becomes kind of so silly that no one will approach it. Because that happens a lot in Hearthstone, I know.
It does happen a lot on Hearthstone. Yeah.
And okay, I should also mention that comes from an outside player. I don't play these games, so.
Well, this kind of card game though. It's not like Magic. It's not like there's no. It's not like an RPG that you're playing out. There's no like game really. It's actually more of like a theater like thing, honestly, than it is a game. Don't you think? Like it's because you're acting. And there's no scoring system other than like what people feel like awarding you points for. So it's not like there's really a game here. So I don't really understand how they're going to try to translate that into a video game, which is going to involve Twitch. And
it'd be like if Cards Against Humanity, got this kind of same format.
But even Cards Against Humanity is more structured than this. Honestly.
Oh, this game?
Yeah. This game is super not structured.
SUPERFIGHT is basically, if you've never played, SUPERFIGHT is basically take two absolutely absurd ideas, like what they show in the trailer. It's basically what would happen in a dorm if everybody got really drunk and knocked on the door of the dorm next door with all the stoners and went, wait, what would be more cool? A car that shoots fire or a fire that shoots cars? That is literally the gameplay of SUPERFIGHT.
It's true. It's true. And by the way, a fire that shoots cars would be way cool.
I have to agree. Now let's discuss the thing in the trailer. You know, we've got a couple of teams. We've got cards on either side. The thing is there... I like the idea with Twitch users deciding who wins, but then that kind of sucks a lot of the gameplay out of it. First, you have to presume that people are watching you or care. Because like this show, we got nobody watching us, you know? So
I see a big old 6 right there.
We see a big old 6, right? Yeah, that's all of us. Huh. No, but really, it's a situation where I think this would be absolutely fantastic. Just like the Jackbox games, which Eli, who is not with us tonight, but is with us in spirit, did tell us, and he does the Jackbox things every Thursday. Chris, do you want to do a plug for that show real quick, or no? You do.
You know, I don't actually know what time it is on Thursday.
That is how awesome we are at knowing all this stuff. Caitlin knows.
Caitlin knows.
I have done this show with Eli like 3 times. It is at 9 or whenever he can get everything together to put it up, but usually at 9. And I think we should play SUPERFIGHT, the video game. That would be freaking cool.
I would play with you guys.
9?
So you heard it here first, folks. Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, or whenever he gets all the stuff together.
9:15 around that time.
You know, just like how we always start at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single time. No, we're never late.
That's right. And you know, while we're at it, we might as well just plug our Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/OPNoobs, because most of you are watching on YouTube. So go there, patreon.com/OPNoobs, and give us your money because we'll use it to make more videos like this.
That is right. And considering that every single publisher has probably blacklisted us at this point, really, you know, it's like every time I log into the YouTube creator account, it's like Christmas. New messages everywhere. Claim. It's wonderful. It's great. But we have to feed the writers occasionally. You know, Top Ramen is not cheap anymore. It's like 15 cents a pack. That's insane.
I know. Times are tough.
They are really tough. They're really, really hard. But it's a good thing that we don't actually, you know, feed the writers. You know, they just make stuff.
No, that would encourage.
I don't even know how I'm gaining weight. Like I don't get fed by you guys, so it makes no sense here.
I know, and poor Tyler. You know, we still haven't let him out of that basement.
I gave him some USB cables to chew on. I think that'll help him last.
Okay. Well, are they USB 2 or 3?
Oh, 1.0.
I stuck some RAM in him, so hopefully that'll get him.
Rammed him with RAM.
But anyway, the whole point is, should we cover it? Do we want to interview these people?
No.
It's a card game. I don't want to sound harsh. Who am I kidding? I would like to talk to them. I'm going to change that. I'd like to talk to them just to find out the idea behind making it integrated with Twitch. I do like the fact that more and more developers are embracing Twitch as a platform. It took them a while. Yeah. It took them a long while, but it's nice to see that there are developers that understand that their game lives and dies by the community. And again, just like us at OPNoobs.com, we live and die by the community. The community wants to kill us, but you know little victories. You do what you do. The next game. Yeah. The next game on the list is SWORDY.
SWORDY. All right. SWORDY is a local party brawler with a tendency to cause chaos on the screen and on the couch. That's what she said. Master the weapons of war, using momentum and timing to fight for your life in a world built on the bones of a ruined empire.
Also what she said.
Is it?
Probably.
Frogshark?
That'd be that. Good.
Frogshark is a studio focused on shared experiences. The games they create revolve around people playing them together, mediums through which to learn about others and ourselves. They look for and make games that have the power to bond, let people make unspoken connections, and share magic moments.
It's so heartwarming.
Magic moments. Aw, I feel like there should be a song cue. It's an arena-based game, obviously, from what we're seeing. I like it personally. It looks like a top-down. It looks like a
so fun.
Yeah, it looks like it could be fun with illicit and not so illicit equipment. I think it'd be fun, actually. I love these not really cell shaded even, these cartoony pixelated arena based things. It looks like it would be fun to me anyway.
Chris, it actually looks it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It almost looks elegant, and I mean maybe that's just the slow motion, but there are moments where you're like, whoa, that looks super cool, and the way that, I guess it's like blood, but it's kind of like polygonal colors, whatever color you spawn as kind of splashes in the direction you die. And that looks really cool too.
Like that.
This looks like a sweet game. And like, for the first time since I can remember in a long time watching the Should Be Covered show, being on the Should Be Covered show,
yeah.
This actually looks kind of unique and kind of different. Really digging on this.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out. There was an old voxel-based shooter that I remember playing a while ago now that looked kind of similar, but I do like this paintball type of thing that they've got going on. It's almost like Splatoon with a MOBA.
Well, and an 8-person brawl is particularly is because it's on Xbox, is a more modern multiplayer format. So
I know what I'm thinking. We actually did an interview with a developer. Remember Barber Ian? The game Barber Ian. It was it was a procedurally generated pixelized thing. You played a barbarian, a female barbarian that would start in an arena or they'd start in a dungeon. We did a review. We did an interview with these people.
I must have missed that one. Gosh.
You did, because it was when it was the guys from Refined Geekery.
Okay.
They did the interview, but they also did a playthrough on Twitch. And you just weren't paying attention?
I guess not. I don't know, man. Sometimes I live under a rock.
You just don't pay attention to any of the stuff we do. You support
I watch most of it. At least I say I watch most of it.
That's all we can ask for, really. We are so loyal to the cause here at OPNoobs. Yeah, but I'm sold on this. I like this list this week. Kudos.
I don't know, a lot of fun titles.
Yeah, wherever Dan might be. Thank you, Dan. And Stylo, you already know that we like you, because we have to, because otherwise you'll kill the show. Don't kill the show, man. Anyway, I'm sold on this. Caitlin? You said something about local and co-op for PC games. What do you mean?
I am very skeptical when I hear local multiplayer, because I'm just not going to play. There's no way in hell I'm having 2 buddies come over and plugging 3 controllers into my computer. It's just not happening. I don't
know. I got a Steam link now that's like a lot more possible for me to do. So I'm
not an expensive hardware kind of girl, so a lot of
people. Expensive hardware do you need? You just need a few controllers and a computer.
Yeah, it's not that expensive, and I don't think.
To be fair, I don't have more than one, and they are.
I don't know. It also kind of bothers me because that mentality gets rid of local multiplayer, which I don't want to go away.
I hate local multiplayer, but I don't have more than 1 controller. So just being hey, showing my friend a game is really just them watching me play.
Isn't that why Twitch exists anyway?
Yeah, but also in that same regard, think of how many shows on Twitch do better when they have 2 people on camera playing the same game.
But also, doesn't this look like? Doesn't this have? Is this only local? I mean, no, it's got to be online. There's 8 people playing. So
no, I think there's both. Which that's what I'm saying. It should be.
Also, Caitlin,
that's really cool.
Let me do my good deed for the day. Down there in the chat is a link to an Amazon page with a $10 controller, USB. You can do it.
Although I hate to say it, you'll run into a lot of problems with because of the nature of DirectX and the Xbox controller. You'll run into issues. So, for example, with Rocket League. For whatever reason, if you've got an Xbox One controller, the other player cannot use the keyboard and mouse. They cannot, because the keyboard and mouse and the first player controller are mapped to the same controls no matter what. And so what I found is that one of the only like safe ecosystems for multiplayer local is to have 4 Xbox controllers, all identical, running off the same antenna. I haven't been able to make it. I've occasionally made it work okay with a keyboard and mouse and a controller, but rarely.
See, he starts talking tech and people walk away.
Controllers.
I know everyone's just like, oh.
To answer your question though, Chris, I'm looking at the Steam page right now. You know, that thing that we should probably do before we look at them. Logitech is best. In fact, I think, yeah, no, that's the exact same controller I have over here right now. Also with my fancy schmancy indie box controller. Nice, right? Yeah.
Nice. Although, let it be noted that Prime Day there's an Xbox 360 controller.
That is entirely true. But to answer your question, Chris, it is a single-player game listed on the Steam page. It is shared / split screen, so yeah, you better be taking advantage of all those USB ports on your rig if you want to play multiplayer, it looks like.
I heard that.
But that being said, I want to talk to these guys. Anybody else? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Mike was muted. I definitely want to talk to you guys.
Awesome. All right, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to reach out. They're going to tell us no, and then we're going to cry. Okay. So
crying when you cry.
I love that he's going mute while he's.
I know. Well, he's having an emotional breakdown about his rejections. All right.
Anyway, while he loses his mind, we're going to get to the last 3. The next one is human fall flat. Now, I'm not sure if there's supposed to be a comma in there, but there's a colon, so it's human fall flat. It's the subtitle. So, Chris.
All right. Human Fall Flat is a quirky, open-ended physics-based puzzle and exploration game set in floating dreamscapes. Your goal is to escape these surreal dreams by solving puzzles with nothing but your wits and physics.
I'm out.
Over to you, Caitlin.
All right. No Breaks Games was established in 2012, while the core team is together since 2007. Experience, talent, and motivation are the key factors enabling such a small team to succeed with buzzwords.
So, I really don't like it when a game has to tell me it's quirky. Just like how I don't like it when someone tells me, oh yeah, they're a really good comedian. No, I want to find out. I'm not a fan of that kind of thing, although I am a fan of physics-based puzzles. I loved Besiege. I have spent many a sleepless, slightly inebriated night with Kerbal Space Program. By the way, I should never be in charge of a space program. Just going to put that out there now. I like this. I do like it, although this kind of screams tech demo to me. I don't know if it really screams full-on game.
Also, there's an important thing that has to be noted here. I don't know if you guys remember a game we looked at on the Should Be Covered show. It was a long time ago called Gang Beasts. And the only reason why I even remember that is because I saw the game again at IndieCade. And in Gang Beasts, you basically is a fighting game where you have kind of gelatinous people who kind of can loosely attach their gelatinous ends onto things and each other and fight one another. And the main characters look almost identical to this one, and the stages are almost looking identical to this one. And that game's still in early access, so that can't mean that they're made another one. So yeah, I don't know. It looks cool, but they basically ripped off an idea from a multiplayer game and created a single player version.
Ooh, now that is a good question, because let's be honest.
Just because the character models are so similar, I put the link in there. Yeah. Just look at the character models from Gang Beasts, you're like, holy shit, they're basically the same.
Well, I won't lie, when it comes right down to it, yeah, I mean, the character models are incredibly similar, or at least the base model is.
They actually spiced up the models in Gang Beasts a little bit recently, but they used to look just like this.
I'm kind of... See, the problem I have a lot of times with Steam Greenlight, and I'm not trying to say that there's anything wrong with Greenlight, but there's a lot of shitty games out there. And I can accept shitty games. I can accept poorly coded games. I can accept badly done games. But I do not like when I see what feels and appears to be an asset rip. The problem with Unity is that there are a lot of developers out there that just buy packs, just asset packs, backgrounds, levels, things of that nature, and they just kind of slap them with a label. I'm not going to do the Ian Malcolm thing from Jurassic Park, but they pretty much just, they patent it, they package it, and then they throw it out there, and they start selling it, and I did it anyway, I'm sorry. And they start selling it, you know? And this is what I feel is happening here. I'm not saying they're doing that because I legally can't, but it looks really, really similar. And we do see a lot of games that are similar. So the question is this on its surface just an asset rip? Kelly.
I don't know.
That's a good solid answer there.
This game looks really unappealing to me, and for multiple reasons. I don't like the kind of flimsy character model puzzle games. Typically, they're like a lot of times pretty boring to me. There's a few parts in here that seem kind of interesting and kind of funny, but you know, just feel like I would get bored after probably 10 or 15 minutes of gameplay. Also, within the chat, if you guys look there, I put a YouTube video of this game because I own an Ouya.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. And there's this game on there, Amazing Frog, that is just like weird, and it has all this like
that.
Yeah, it's a physics-based game just like this, like exactly like this. And for like seeing that game first and then seeing this one, you know, a couple of years later, I'm just like, no, this is not appealing to me. Not only did Amazing Frog not do that well, but I don't think it did that well because the quirkiness that was added to the game and these like puzzles don't really pan out, and it kind of becomes pretty repetitive, like repetitive gameplay. That's what it turns into.
Okay, that's fair. Caitlin?
Just like loving watching this little guy walk. He's so cute, but honestly, it seems really rough around the edges to me.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to be a no. I would like to see somebody hint, one of the writers hint, do maybe a bit of a compare contrast. Not necessarily review, but I'd like to have somebody do a compare and contrast of Gang Beasts and this game and see, just let the people decide, because that's what we don't ever do. That's what we want people to do, is they can make a decision from there. I do have to admit, after seeing the link that has been shared to me by Kellogg, I do feel like there's a lot of similarities between the Double Fine game and this. So
yep.
Yeah, and then the truth is, it's not just the way it looks. Like the way this character grabs onto objects is identical to the way the characters grab onto objects and each other in Gang Beasts. Now, it's not that, you know how they say the imitation is the highest form of flattery. If this game actually has genuinely fun gameplay, then fuck all that other stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter. They did a good job. But as far as I can tell, they just kind of like took the idea and made a puzzle out of it, when honestly it was much more fun, I think, applied as like a brawler, which is what Gang Beasts is. A multiplayer brawler.
Fair enough. All right, so we've got 2 more to go. We're going to get right into it. We've got Phantom Brave PC. Okay, Phantom Brave PC.
All right. Phantom Brave PC. In the year of 1921, in a world called Ivoire, lives Morona, a 13-year-old orphaned girl with a special ability to communicate with phantoms. Morona believes in her parents' teachings that people will one day come to like her as long as she stays compassionate and kind. Or do you get them?
NIS America Incorporated is committed to marketing the most innovative and creative titles in the industry. We at NIS America Incorporated will continue to work hard to bring exciting new titles to satisfy both our fans and new users.
Oh boy. So let me fanboy for just a second. It's NIS. It's NIS. Disgaea, come on. But Disgaea PC kind of released to not so good things. In fact, Disgaea PC was buggy as hell, as much as I love the game, and as much as I love the series, and as much as I love it all. Why do we get such buggy ports? Why?
I know they don't spend as much time as they should, and I bought this game when it first came out in, if I'm thinking right, like 2005.
Yeah.
And maybe it was 2004. But I actually wasn't a huge fan of this game. I played Disgaea when it came out too. It's one of my favorite titles. I actually finally picked up a brighter Darkness, the sequel on PS3, which I'm very excited to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when this one came out, like the story is really good. It's very fun and quirky, yet has serious tones here and there about it. And I like those are the two main characters, but the Phantom dude there, I can't remember his name, but you also get to use him in battle.
Mm.
And the story was really good, and battle was really fun, but there was just this certain thing, if I'm remembering correctly, each Phantom that you summon can only be out on battle for a certain amount of turns. And that was such a huge letdown for me, because I just couldn't figure out the tactics of it, that I never ended up beating this game.
That's fair. And Caitlin, you get off this call right now. Go. What do you mean you didn't like this guy? Go
on.
I expected it to be just like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and it a grid-based game, and I didn't love it. It was so complicated compared to the other one. I think I just played it at the wrong time in my life.
I don't know. I thought Final Fantasy Tactics Advance was fairly complicated, because if people didn't understand the ability system from 9, then because I had so many friends that played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, I've even played it recently.
I never
that
played
just didn't get that. You never what?
Oh.
You never played it?
I didn't hear that again.
I never played 9, so I just picked up Tactics, and I was like, wow, this is the coolest game ever, and it's to this day one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And a friend bought me Disgaea because they thought, it's a grid-based game, and I happened to like them. I was obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of Roses, too. But I don't know. Something about the throwing of the penguins, and I don't know, it's just weird. I didn't get past the first level. I just the tutorial was too boring.
Look, you always got to be throwing penguins. I mean, that's
the
best attack.
I did like the comics, though, so I did like the story. I just didn't like the game. I have the comics. I have the graphic novels.
So to finish my thought though, the friends I knew that played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance without playing 9 or kind of looking into it, they would play the game for so long and just get confused on why their characters never had abilities, and I would have to explain to them no, you have to equip the weapon and wait it out until you get the ability out of the weapon. And with
that explains a lot, because I never understood that either.
Oh. Yeah, that's how.
I played Final Fantasy 9, and I had Final Fantasy, just like you said, I had Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and I played it, and I was like, oh, this is super cool, and then I hit a point where I'm like, what do I even do? I don't even understand what I'm supposed to do anymore.
My friends would be like,
because I would just die constantly, and I was like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do.
But those same friends that would play, they played Disgaea, and they liked it because they find it to be, at least the first one. Everyone after that, they threw in tons of elements. But the first one I didn't feel was too complicated, you upgrade your weapons by literally going into them and battling monsters in them. I always thought that was pretty cool. And then the storyline for Disgaea is just kind of purely hilarious. I laugh out loud every time I get to the Prison Rangers chapter. And I don't know. I just really love that series. I guess really what I'm doing here is just beefing up my for Miss America.
you basically are at this point. Also, by the way, because
that's the other Caitlin. That's
wait. We haven't dropped a Nintendo reference in at least 10 to 15 minutes. Well, 5 minutes. Don't forget that Super Mario Brothers RPG is now finally on the virtual shop. So there's that too.
Oh, are you talking about this game right here?
As a matter of fact, I am.
If you guys want to see my strategy guide, I'll grab it later because I don't want to get up.
Is that an innuendo? Is it?
No.
Are you sure?
What would that even been innuendo for?
Who knows?
Strategy guide?
With this stream, with these people,
out a book for Kama Sutra.
You never know. You never know, especially when Fred's not here, because now we don't have anybody filibustering for 30 minutes on Opera.
It's just me doing mini rants at the beginning of every game, which I'm conscious to keep them within 2 minutes.
Exactly.
But I gotta say, the sprites in this game are beautiful. They're so well
made. And this was a PS2 game.
I know. That's when sprite graphics really started falling off.
When we thought everything was going to be this awesome forever.
Well, it's back then. It seemed like sprites were gonna die, and that because no one knew that retro was gonna be cool again yet. So like, it seemed like maybe the end of sprites.
But everything retro always comes back. I mean,
I know, but
vinyl, comic books, theoretically, not that they ever.
I was 13 when PlayStation 2 came out. I didn't know what retro was yet.
Pokemon never went away. I mean, we're playing it on smartphones now.
Oh, no.
At some point, I guarantee you, in the next 10 years, we will have actual legitimate Pokemon running around.
I'd like that.
Yeah?
I think.
I mean, we already call them Pomeranians now, but, you know.
I'm allergic to cats. Do you think you could be allergic to Pokemon?
It's possible. I mean, stay away from Meowth, but, you know.
I think that's called radiation cancer, Chris.
What's that?
I think that's called radiation and cancer, because if they're on computer generated, we've got some pretty serious waves around us.
Yeah, well, I'll just get a Pikachu.
Wow, this show got dark fast.
Yeah, no, really.
Cancer and radiation. I do have to wonder, though, Chris, you were saying earlier you wanted to catch a Pikachu. Does that mean you're going to wander around like a Con Ed plant or something at 2 in the morning?
You know, there's like a big Transformer like box thing, like area not that far from here. So I'm gonna go check that place out. We'll see how that goes.
I will be sure to watch the obituaries just in case.
Yes, it'll totally be a Pikachu that killed him.
You never know. You never know. But I think this is going to be a yes. NIS games are always a yes for us on this show. I don't see why this should be any different.
I think
I
say yes because I would love to revisit this game.
So, with that in mind, we are nearly finished. We're at the last one, and the last one, speaking of retro, we're going to get into that in a second, and then we're all going to gush about how awesome retro is. But first, let's let somebody else gush about how awesome we are. As I have jokingly said, we have to pay our writers. No, really, it's more along the lines of we do this stuff out of love of gaming. We do this on a purely volunteer basis, and it shows in some cases. But the fact of the matter is we do reviews, we do interviews, we do a little bit of a preview type of thing for alphas and betas. We did a preview of Tailwind, which was an awesome game that we did an interview for. We reached out to the devs. They said, yes, let's have you cover the game. It's awesome. We are literally bringing gaming to you guys. Really, we are. We have no allegiances to any one specific development house. We have no real allegiances to anybody. So all the opinions that you get on this show and other shows are ours.
Completely unbiased.
Well, sort of. I mean, it's the Nintendo Power Hour up there, and the Nintendo Power Hour has been going on for a couple of hours now at this point.
Yeah.
But you know, we're not any of the streamers that have been paid by Warner Brothers to say good things about their game, because we know that's what they do.
Not yet, at least.
I mean, I don't know why Chris said good things about Arkham Knight, but hey, what do I know? Yeah, a few things.
No defense there at all.
No. Honestly, Arkham Knight is good if you ignore the Batmobile, which is about 90% of the game. But
let the record show what I actually reviewed for when I post that link.
Yeah, that's true. But no, all jokes aside, the stuff we do giveaways for games. Stitchwood is not here tonight, so obviously we have no games to give away. No, really, it's more along the lines of we love doing giveaways. We love doing tournaments with developers. I don't know of really anybody else that's doing that in the indie scene. So, that in mind, we do need to keep the lights on every once in a while. So this is my somewhat impassioned plea. Right here, right now, give us your money. We are not going to buy Learjets with it. We're going to buy more stuff so that we can give you guys decent content. Maybe even have people that can give this pitch the right way. Chris, you are the guy that can give this pitch the right way. Please, if you don't mind.
Well, you did a pretty great job, but I'll just follow it up again by saying that we have a Patreon. It's at no, it's not at opnoobs.com/Patreon. It's at patreon.com/opnoobs. Just go check it out. It's right below in Twitch, just below us right here. But you can just find it on our website or just go to patreon.com/opnoobs. Send us your money. We'll use it to make better content, and better content will mean you'll become a better gamer, and we'll all win together.
And maybe a Learjet.
Maybe a Learjet. Maybe.
I knew it. Styles got a Concord, that bastard. He was holding out on us.
I know, hiding his Learjet in his back pocket.
You would figure somebody that has a Concord parked somewhere, wouldn't fall asleep during a stream.
Yeah, or maybe would like visit you on occasion.
Nah. From my hidden compound over in the Pacific Northwest with a squeak toy with a dog apparently. So there's that. Anyway, we're gonna get on to the very last game of the evening, and oh my God, is it gorgeous! We're gonna lose Caitlin because she's gonna start kissing and licking her screen in a second. Let me preface this by saying that Chrono Trigger is awesome. Chrono Cross was awesome. Square, when they were Square Enix, awesome.
You mean before they were Square?
Before they were Square Enix. Square Soft, currently, Square Soft, that was awesome. Square that brought us Hitman, not so much. Not so much.
Well, for the last few Final Fantasies, for that matter.
No. But leave it to the indie development scene to pick up where major producers and developers screw up. Except for Mighty Number 9. I'm still pissed about that. I donated money, so I have the right. Still really pissed about that. I did cry like an anime fan on Prime Night when I saw what my money bought. But I digress. I am Setsuna. No, I am not Setsuna. This game is I am Setsuna. And I am already in love with this game. Roll that trailer so that I may stare at it longingly. Chris, if you may.
I may. I am Setsuna. Inspired by the timeless classic Chrono Trigger, I am Setsuna is a great homage to the JRPG masterpieces of yesteryear. Journey with Setsuna as she prepares to make the ultimate sacrifice and save the people of her land. Over to you, Caleb.
Developed by Tokyo RPG Factory, this studio was created by Square Enix and is staffed by external staff to create RPG games.
So, why can Square do this? Why can Square have a hand in this? Thanks for catching the joke, by the way. Why does Square have a hand in this and can't bring us another Chrono game? Look at it. Look at it.
I don't know. They're gonna, because you guys do know that like the Squaresoft or Square Enix and the main guy from that created Chrono Trigger are thinking about doing an HD remake, like full on, like the new Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yes, and
so if that's the case, that's something I'll also be excited for. As I've expressed this before, I am excited for the Final Fantasy VII remake. But I don't know. I would almost say that I'm glad an indie developer. I'm not actually almost going to say this. I will just
not even really technically indie if Square's kind of involved in it as tightly as they are, because that's the thing I can't understand. The end of the show, we always highlight at least one AAA. And in this case, it's Square.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing I can't fathom. I really can't. All this time, Square has said, we're not going to revisit this. We're not going to do anything to do with it. We're never going to go back to it. I'm sorry, the story is over. And now, after killing so many fan projects over the years, and I'm sorry if I'm a little bitter about this because I did have a hand in one of them that got killed by a cease and desist. So I'm a little bit pissy. Why? I love that it's being done. I love that it's coming out. But why in the hell do you think, Kelly? And then you can continue on with your thought. Why did it take so long? They know that that Chrono Trigger has always been well loved. It has been beyond a cult phenomenon. Why is it now we have this?
Kickstarter and Square Enix finally realized, well, I guess it's not technically Square Enix because the group that helps with the Kickstarters is actually the Square Collective, which is same company. They do different things though, obviously. But I think two things. Kickstarter made it easier to get like outreach to a lot of people. Obviously, a lot of those people are willing to pay also, which helps. But Kickstarter allowed faster outreach to people, so people are like, oh, there's a game that's inspired by Chrono Trigger out. That's really cool. And then secondly, Square Enix realized finally, like, oh, they're not making a Chrono Trigger game. They're just saying it's inspired by that. That made us a lot of money. Why don't we just ask them if we can help them a little bit? And then from there, and I hold up quotations like it's actually a bad thing. I'm excited for this game. It looks really cool. My only drawback, honestly, is how come lately, when like a good RPG is made, how come they have to have like the chibi-esque style characters, or like, the weird rounded childish looking characters? Like, why can't we have an RPG that has normal looking people in it again? Well, that's my only holdup with this entire game, is the artistic style of the characters.
We do have a lot of those, though. We do have a lot of those, though. I think any of the Final Fantasies in recent memory have had human-ish characters.
And that's why I said good RPGs.
Oh, good RPGs. Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'm going to try. I'm also in same Curtis.
Final Fantasy VIII was a good RPG. I don't care what anybody says.
No, it's good. It's just the draw. That's like the main drawback with that game is the draw system.
The draw system was fine. I didn't see the problem with it. You didn't have to sit there and grind for hours. You could have just drawn a couple.
Well, I mean, you did if you wanted to like apply. So like, spending the 2 hours to get 100 draws of Blizzaga made it like
cards
when you inserted it into your weapon.
Nah, the triple triad.
Oh yeah, and lots of people like playing the card game in that too.
Yeah, but anyway, the thing is, it's really weird to see this and go, oh yeah, it's just slightly inspired by Chrono Trigger. Okay, we have a vertical takeoff and landing.
I mean, I see a little bit of it. Like, I get that it's an RPG.
Yeah.
I get that it's top down. Maybe it'll like the shared component of having people you can swap in and out of your party who have in-depth characters. Everyone's very animated, and everything is a very high level of attention to detail. But I mean, ultimately, like, Chrono Trigger could have been a Final Fantasy game. I mean, there's no reason why it couldn't have just been Final Fantasy, 5.5. Like, it's the same. They're the same-ish, I should say, not the same. I love Chrono Trigger better, but
the reason Chrono Trigger was different is because that was the first game that had live action, actual gameplay where your characters moved around and had a sphere of influence. So in Chrono Trigger, even though your time counter moves up, your character could move incorrectly into an enemy's encounter zone.
So you're talking instead of random encounters, you can see the enemies around you.
Yeah, so that too. That was another good element they added. But the other thing too is you can beat Chrono Trigger in 15 hours or less. And with that too, in less than 15 hours, they had time to flesh out all of the main characters in that game.
Oh, I'm not saying that this isn't a debate about why Chrono Trigger is a good game.
No, that's why I'm saying this game may be different, because if they're trying to make a game that's inspired by Chrono Trigger, I hope they're looking towards those elements.
Right. Well, they better look towards storytelling. Is really the only thing Chrono Trigger that really sets Chrono Trigger apart. Gameplay, a little bit, mostly storytelling.
And I think the battle system is a big key point that sets Chrono Trigger apart.
Sure. I mean, in 1990, whatever, 4, when that came out, that was a revelation. But this is 20 years from now. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to come out with a game mechanic in this format. That's a revelation.
Right. But let me also bring up the argument of so many games are done with adding new elements. Let's just give the Tales of series, if you guys play those, as an example. We had Tales of Xillia 1 and 2. Both were really great. Then we had Tales of Zestria come out, I think, just a year ago. The battle system in it is awful. It is atrocious, because they tried to do their new quirky battle system that's supposed to be new and different, and it was new and different, but it wasn't good. And so there is the argument that I'm trying to bring forth of, maybe they don't need to make anything original. They just need to stick with what worked, and it worked very well. And that's why.
I guess what I'm just trying. I guess my point is, what makes a Chrono Trigger Soul sequel when Chrono Trigger already feels like a Soul sequel to a Final Fantasy game? Did you see what I'm saying?
I don't feel like. See, I don't feel that connection. I feel Final Fantasy is very separate from Chrono Trigger, just like I would say Earthbound is very separate from like.
See, I look at Earthbound and Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy, you know, at least the Super Nintendo ones, and I say these are all variations of a theme. You know what I mean? They have different gameplay developments and elements, and I'm throwing storyline out here. I know they all have very unique storyline elements that are totally awesome, and like I wouldn't take that from those games at all. But I just, when it comes down to pure gameplay, a Chrono Trigger Soul sequel is just kind of a weird idea. Because at the end of the day, you're just going to have an RPG. It just is an RPG.
Yeah, it's the difference as, do you want, you know, an RPG or do you want like a well done RPG?
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Because
that's fair. Well,
I'll bring up that same argument. We bring this up all the time on the Should We Cover Show. There is definitely an oversaturation of space games. Would you also argue that there is a oversaturation of RPGs that have been pushed out because people have access to RPG Maker?
Well, it's different though.
Too.
I guess it's different because they're touting out the Chrono Trigger name though, and so I feel like it's.
And I think they get to do that more because of.
Well, to be fair, they didn't really trot out the Chrono Trigger name. We trotted out the Chrono Trigger name, but then again,
no, it says it in the description. Inspired by the timeless classic Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, it is. They're pushing that real hard.
They're pushing that hard because. This is the overall
first 7 words.
But this is the overall question that I have is, when is nostalgia too much to market to? Are we interested in this because of the game on its own merits? Because I'm actually trying to ignore.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
I'm trying to ignore the description specifically because when someone looks at this trailer, there's a madness to my method, I promise you. When someone looks at this trailer and they are looking at this, there is no doubt in my mind that you don't need to be told that this is inspired by Chrono Trigger because you can see it, you can feel it. The characters are walking on a fairly clear path with forest on either side. They're walking across a bridge. Bridges are normal in RPGs, but there's something about the art style that immediately throws back to that first area in, I think it was either, was it 1200 AD? When you start the game, or was it 600 AD? No, it was 1200 AD. When you're leaving
the Renaissance.
Yeah, when you're leaving your house and you see the
overworld.
overworld.
It's 1000.
1000. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I know the past is 600. Okay, cool. So when you leave your house and you look at that overworld map, it is almost bang on exactly the same as what we're seeing in the trailer here for I Am Setsuna. And then when you see the characters in that frozen waste in the game here, how can you not think of being on the mainland in Zeal? Or just below Zeal, rather.
Yeah,
you don't need...
the Underland.
Even the section where you're walking through what looks like a cathedral. Can you not see... Yes. Can you not see that that's similar to the cathedral in the 600 AD when you're getting the queen back?
Yeah, and when you wake up in the tent, you could argue that you're in the...
Finally, that portion where they're walking to the edge of the cliff, how the heck do you not think of the scene with Magus? Yeah. You don't need to be told that this thing is a spiritual sequel to Chrono Trigger because all the callbacks are there. It's a Pavlovian response that any 16-bit Nintendo player has as soon as they see Square pop up and as soon as they see I Am Setsuna. But the question is, if we didn't have the description, just based on this, is there merit as it is without it being a callback to Chrono Trigger? Chris. Chris and then Kelly. And then let's give Caitlin some popcorn.
I think there's merit for sure. And it's nice, you know what, to be fair, and I kind of only just thought about this, it's nice that for once Square Enix is like trying to provide a nostalgic experience that's actually new rather than just porting an old game. I mean, for the most part, all we've seen out of Square Enix is port. So it's nice to see a new game in the vein of an older game rather than just a port of Chrono Trigger. I mean, they could have just ported Chrono Trigger and called it a day. But so yeah, that's awesome. I'm a little skeptical at the graphics I'm seeing, and I'm skeptical that you can really carry over the spirit of Chrono Trigger through this many versions of Square and Square Enix, and also even this many you know, hardware revisions. I'm not even sure I want a Chrono Trigger that's not in pixels. I don't know. So I've got a lot of really mixed emotions because Chrono Trigger is easily my favorite RPG for Super Nintendo, maybe of all time. And if they don't do this exactly right, they're going to have a very hard time pleasing me.
Yeah, that's and I actually wanted to bring that up from what you said before, and actually support of your argument is that, you know, you do run the risk of jumping the shark when you make games like this, especially when you're doing a call out kind of so heavy with Chrono Trigger. So there is that too. You run the risk of like jumping the shark because then they're going to be like, well, people won't really care for this reason or that. So I did agree on that side.
Yeah.
But no, for in terms of should we cover it? If you guys didn't hear the rant between Kellogg before, I think that we should definitely. Not only is this like AAA title that will get covered in the week, but this is one that I think like a lot of
you called dibs actually.
I know several times.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But either way, this game looks really interesting. I am really interested to see gameplay, story, battle mechanics. Like I'm very interested, and then on top of that, I'm very interested to see like what Tokyo RPG Factory makes after this, just to see what they follow up with. If this game is successful, like I'm into this title for more reasons than just the game.
That's fair.
So I think we should cover it.
And you've even written Diblets and oh my god, this game looks amazing. So I think you've made your opinion known. Really. Like I said, my only concern is I hate it when a game is marketed just on, okay, they've done this, this, and this, so obviously it's going to be good. But when you are banking on the nostalgia of a previous and a very beloved property like Chrono Trigger, and to a lesser extent Chrono Cross, you're really setting up for failure. And I'm just hoping that it's not going to be one of those cases here, where it feels like a remake, kind of like how some people said negative things about The Force Awakens, simply because, oh, well, it's just a reshoot of the original Star Wars. Well, yeah, but you love the original Star Wars, right? Well, yeah, but you didn't want anything new, right? Well, yeah. What do you want? You know, that's exactly the real question. And Caitlin, this is the game I've been waiting to ask you about the whole time, because this is probably one of the prettiest games I've seen, regardless of what Kellogg says. What do you think?
You know, it's funny because when I read that it was a spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger, I was like, okay, it's gonna look like crap, retro crap. Okay, cool. And then it showed up. I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that. That's actually really nice looking. Myself, I didn't play the Chrono Trigger games, but I am a pianist, so I did play the Chrono Trigger soundtrack.
Okay.
Which I liked a lot.
Right.
So I do have a little bit of warmth in my heart for this series, if not for the same reasons you guys do.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So we should cover this. I shouldn't even ask because the AAA is the one that we always focus on.
Yeah, it's good to get everybody's opinion, though.
Yeah, but doesn't really matter because it looks good. Looks good. Does it look good? Should we cover it? Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
We should cover it.
Kellogg.
It's good enough.
It's good enough.
Yes.
You're not a huge fan of the graphics, I take it.
I guess they're okay.
What is it?
Like I said before, that my only one drawback is that I don't understand when we see better RPGs come out, how come typically their character models are childish or the chibi-esque character.
I kind of agree.
I don't like that as much. I want like just a normal looking person fighting a giant turtle with a bunch of green crystal on its back. I feel like that's more reasonable, but also in the same respect, you know, a lot of people.
That's reasonable. Do you see a lot of those? Have you been playing Pokemon Go a little too much?
That and Bravely Second.
Okay.
Nintendo.
So do you want to mesh the two together in some kind of nightmare-esque type of combination?
No.
No?
No.
Did you consider it for a second there?
Of course, I had to think about it. That's an exciting combination.
Ah, that's fair. That's fair. So, anyway, that's the show for tonight, folks. We said yes to just about everything. I'm just gonna go.
Poop to one.
Yeah, we did say poop. I'm gonna highlight the poop. Don't worry.
Yep. Poop got third.
Yeah.
The away team got poop, and everything else got yes. Oh, except SUPERFIGHT. That got.
Yeah. So the away team got poop. I bet that's probably going to be our game of the year when we do our 2016.
It's secretly Undertale too.
It's secretly Undertale. It's like the Scooby-Doo mystery where they just.
I like Undertale a lot. I'm just kidding.
You like Undertale. I never would have guessed, honestly. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we said yes to Dreambreak. We said yes to Zombie Night Terror. We said yes to Death Road to Canada. We didn't say yes to Death Roads. We don't like Death Roads. It's okay. Hive Jump got yes.
Hive Jump looked really good.
Hive Jump got a yes because it looks very much like an awesome Contra-esque Super Metroid type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
SUPERFIGHT we were kind of sketchy on. I think that's going to be a no. SWORDY got a yes.
SWORDY is another one that I probably will specifically buy that game.
Okay.
Myself to play. That's how fun. That's how fun it looks.
That looks like fun as
hell. Yeah, we need to buy that, Rob, and play that together. I think.
Yep. Yeah, do a stream of it on my show that's created very soon when I get out to Portland.
That would be great if it weren't for the fact that it's a local game only and there's no online multiplayer, guys.
Until they change that. Until they change that.
How about this? I'll stream myself playing and you can stream yourself playing. It won't pretend.
Good deal.
It's like mailing playing chess, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that'd be awful. Okay, but going on Phantom Brave PC.
Yeah. We said yes to Phantom Brave PC, and of course I am Setsuna. And the one that I'm really going to be interested in, and I want to, any of the writers that are listening right now, please take this. Human: Fall Flat looks really, really similar to what game was it, Chris?
Gang Beasts / Amazing.
Oh yeah,
not like Gangbusters or anything, but Gang Beasts. Yes. So I would like for someone to do a little bit of research and find out what's going on. Why do they look so similar? But maybe we're reading too much into it. Maybe we're not. But that's the show for tonight. Check us out, OPNoobs.com. Please like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Steam. Join
Patreon.com/OPNoobs.
Patreon. I think that's pretty much everything. We do indie game tournaments every once in a while for E4I. Check that out. If there's a game that you actually want us to look into for E4I, like if you know of something that'd be awesome, squad-based shooter, squad-based arena deathmatch with hammers, I don't care what it is. If you think that there's a possibility of it, tell us about it.
Shoot us. If you know how to get in touch with the people of SWORDY so we can do an E4I tournament for that game, you let us know immediately.
That is also good.
Guaranteed there will be an OPN team for that game.
There definitely will be. Stay tuned because we've got stuff always getting updated on the site, especially for E4I. We're going to do another Red Solstice, is it, Chris?
We are doing another Red Solstice. I don't know the exact dates for that yet, but we're going to be doing a larger tournament for Red Solstice coming up later this year.
I believe in
October.
That's exactly. Right. That's right. We worked with Iron Ward Studios before.
It's another official tournament. We're not screwing around.
We do not. No, we are not screwing. Well, we weren't screwing around before either.
No,
these are officially sanctioned, legal, swear on our lives tournaments that we work directly with the developers. This isn't some rinky-dink little community thing going on. This is a legit. Prizes come from the developers themselves. The developers get on the stream and poke fun at people that suck at the game or talk about how bad they suck at the game. It's a lot of laughs. It's a good time had by all.
Indeed.
But that being said, if you think we suck, tell us. Shoot an email over to fred@opnoobs.com. If you think you can do better than us, well, put your money where your mouth is. If you want to join the team and show us how much we suck, you can do that too. Shoot an email over to Fred, F-R-E-D, @opnoobs.com and say you want to join the team. You can do interviews. You can do writing. If you can write, you can do streaming. If you can stream, if you don't suck, if you don't get banned, blacklisted, or otherwise do anything unlawful on the channel.
All of the things that Steven is saying. All of them.
Exactly. Only the best can break all the laws, and you have to practice before you can actually do that. But that being said, that's the show for this evening. Check us out, OPNoobs.com. I'm going to say goodbye. So everybody, have a good one. Go to sleep. Good night. Go drink. Do whatever.
Dream about I am Setsuna.
Go play Pokemon Go. Go catch a